put out your opinion.
Got it ready. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tetris. I always love like asking my co-commentators like, who do you think is gonna win? I know it's not a professional thing to do, but it's just funny. Maybe
Well, it's what they do in the business, right? It's called a cop out. It's the cop out play when you have nothing else to ask and you say, "So, what do you guys think?"
Yeah.
It's part of the business, man. It's like you got to think on the fly and ask those type of questions, right? Basically, when I was at CTWC this past year doing the interviewer role, right? Adam Cornelius, who's the executive producer, was producing the segments there, and he was basically telling me, he says, "Listen, worst case is that if you draw a blank or whatever, don't have any dead air. Just come up right away and say the most easiest thing ever, which is usually, how do you feel?" I was like, yeah, I'm going to try to refrain from doing that. And of course, the first person I talked to, I think was Fractal at that time, said, "How do you feel?" So, professional at its finest.
There you go. There's some King's tips there for anybody trying to be an interviewer or a commentator as well. Oh, Dog already starting off with a bit of a hang there, but it's gonna be okay. A little Lombard though.
He is a roller, so of course it is okay. You have those hangs over on the left side when you can zoom pieces left and right like no other, then it's okay. Hangs are not as troublesome as if you were a mediocre tapper or a Daz player.
Definitely, but I think that did end up costing him against Gerald, because even if you are safe, you're not really in much danger if you hang something on 18. It still can cost burns depending on what pieces you get, and that starts building up after a while. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be happening right now with Dog, as he's only behind by 7,000 points and behind in lines as well. So, did you what was I gonna ask? Did you have like anybody, like a prediction of who might have ended up on playoffs? Like, did you predict anybody this season?
Did I put out like predictions for the season you're talking about?
No, just your own personal thing, like your own personal prediction.
Yeah, I did pretty much predict based on how the groups ended up working out. I did have Dog and Andy coming out of 1B just because they're just so dominant. And that, as Miles had mentioned, even though Miles did a great job, he did. Miles was actually starting out, I think, 3-0 early on.
Yeah.
It looked like he could certainly make a run for one of the spots, but then once he kind of faced Dog and Andy like back to back within a couple of days, that killed it and left him out in the cold. But for 1A was a little bit tougher. 1A was a little bit tougher just because you did have Gerald and Sidnev in that group, but then SV, who has obviously taken his game to new heights, certainly proved that, as we were kind of talking about in the halftime show, that anybody can have a chance to win as long as you are playing the best on any given day, right? If you're playing at your absolute best, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You could beat anybody in the world. We've seen that many times over. And he almost did. He almost got a spot in. He was leading the group for a while until that unfortunate back-to-back match he had with Gerald and Sidnev, and ended up getting double swept. So, but yeah, I pretty much had these four going back in.
Yeah, so it is pretty interesting how it just like came down to the players that were in most contention to make it to playoffs. Like Miles had it until he faced Andy and Dog, who were also contenders to make it to the playoffs, and same thing with Gerald, SV, and Sidnev. So it is very interesting, and I do think that next season, I don't think there's any way. Oh, wait, hold on. Andy's in a bit of trouble right now. Like actual trouble if he doesn't get the right pieces. A bit of burning. Another J piece. Oh, but misdrops that Z piece. Gonna cost even more. Trouble here.
We're kind of seeing this from Andy lately. He gets into these troublesome digs. We're seeing that a lot in CTM and the Masters events, and certainly now today is a bad time to be having any of this, but he's been working very hard to dig out of there. He's got a T-spin set up right there. There it is. Hits it beautifully. He is working very hard to get out of this dig here, Big. This is a tremendous job by a former CTL champion.
Yeah, definitely, and doing it just in time too. because you've only got 10 lines to go for transition, and no matter, even if you're the best roller, a bad sequence of pieces and a bad board in 19 can still kill. But he is gonna be safe just in time for transition at 4:47, and here we go, off and running while Dog still has 15 lines to go. So definitely that large, that high dig that Andy had to deal with is gonna make him a little ahead in lines right now.
I wonder if that steak had anything to do with it. You know, sometimes you have a good meal and all of a sudden you get that itis, they call it, right? You get a little bit of the itis and you start feeling sluggish and like, oh man, I could go for a nap right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that affects Andy.
And as you said that, once again, looks like it might have been a double flip. I can't imagine that was an adjustment for a long bar dependency. But he needs 2 long bars. Not getting either. Still safe, but it is going to cost burns, which is still problematic even if he's at least not topped out. But Dog barely transitions at 19. 6-11.
Yeah, very high 500k for Dog at transition, and then got a few burns here because he's got a bit of a messy board too, but certainly we've seen him work it out, and that's what he's doing right now. 640 for Dog, 535 for Andy. We are cruising along. Andy is ahead in the line count. As lately, we've been seeing he's been doing some dashes. He gets stuck on that column 2 again with the long bar, but as we talked about here, being a high roller, potentially can get another one over there if it shows up. We got a drought happening here.
Oh, got it one piece too late.
Oh, bad timing for squares here as well. We need the long bar relief.
Oh, this might do it. And that's going to do it for Andy, topping out at 583. Just those misdrops were not letting up. And Dog will take game 1.
This is the first time that we are using Max Out Club for the CTL Division 1, especially here at the championship. So, a bit interesting on how that's going. That might be the way we go forward here, Pete. I don't know. The response so far has been really positive for the most part, and Max Out Club usage. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, definitely a good way to kind of be a failsafe, even if somebody is streamers 3, 2, 1 Tetris. But even if like a streamer's internet dies, it just still got Max Out Club, so the game still goes on. But yeah, here we go. Game number 2. Andy looking to tie up the set after that unfortunate early top out after a sequence of just a lot of misdrops and digs that just couldn't get out of. But still, just game 1, anybody's game. Anything can happen.
I think you have been experimenting with rolling as well too. I know that you started to kind of get a feel for that, and saw you doing that at CTBC, silver as well. So how has the progression gone for you? And then can you talk about some of the misdrops and the misrotations and flips there that you saw Andy doing? I know I've had this conversation with multiple other people as far as rolling, but I like to hear everybody's different take. Everyone has a different say on what happens in those cases.
Well, I mean, it really is a sense of trying to just hope for the best but expect the worst, in the sense that just try not to freak out whenever you get these really complicated double flips, because they can really mess you up. And I think even if you do have the speed to burn it out, I think just the fact that you double flip at all, it just kind of brings you out of the rhythm, and it's something that you also have to learn how to deal with as well. It's just a very complicated playstyle. I've been doing better. I haven't been double flipping as much, and I do have a shot at making Masters next month. Hopefully, we'll see if that works out. It's the qualifier that I got. Thanks for rolling. But really, anybody, it doesn't matter how good you are. You're still gonna get these days where it just seems like you double flip every piece, and yeah, it's just a matter of doing the best you can. Just don't freak out. Keep a level head and don't top out.
Just like what Andy's gonna try to have to do here. He will try not to top out. He is in a world of mess again. Make a long bar dependency. Oh, the J timing, perfect. Oh, there you go, Andy. Woo! Look at the first woo from the king, the originator. And nice job by Andy. He stays alive. Oh, yes.
Very nicely done there from Andy, but it's still ahead in score as well. Not the biggest lead, but regardless, just, after making that having to do that large dig, it's still very nice to know that you're in the lead, so it didn't cost you that much. But Dog doing a bit of burning as well, not getting the right pieces, so it's been costing some efficiency. Not the best of games for either player, but they're still kicking at least.
Well, they most certainly are, and I mean, you would expect that from, as we mentioned, players of this caliber. I mean, you're talking about two players that have been playing at CTWC. They were certainly big proponents of the online scene back in 2020. They went and played in the very first final that was online ever. They have been there IRL. They've been under the pressure, right, for the last almost 3 years now. They have been in the pressure situations. They have dealt with it. And when talking to Dog at CTWC, he did still mention that, he still gets nervous, right? He still gets nervous. He talked about that at the end of the CTL season 18 when he won. He says he still gets nervous at times, right? But I think what it is that just all that match experience between the two, that it gets easier to deal with, right?
Mm-hmm.
The nerves don't always go away, but it gets easier to deal with when you hit these high pressure situations, that you can stay in control and hopefully have minimized issues going into your transitions.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it's also a case of like, if you really look for it, there's always a reason to be nervous. Like if you're a underdog player facing off against an elite player, you're like, obviously you're going to be nervous for playing against this like top level player. But then once you become a top level player yourself, there's like this kind of expectation that you have to live up to in a way that would make anybody nervous, really. And really, it's just a matter of having a good mental and being able to handle those nerves well.
Well, certainly I would agree, and you're watching two of the best in the world handle their nerves and stay afloat. We got 429 for Andy at 110 lines. Dog is about 10 lines behind. He'll get a Tetris to get a little closer in the line count, but Andy will hit one too. 451 to 383. Andy with the lead, but of course the pace differential in Dog's favor.
Yeah, Andy with a better game definitely than in game one, especially after that very scary dig at the very beginning. So definitely in contention here for game two. Dog is at 454, 118 lines, still behind in lines right now, as looks like we're gonna have a clean stack for both in the transition. Not to jinx it or anything, but Andy taking a nice double. One more Tetris should put him at 19, and that's gonna do it. So 546 for Andy at 19. Dog can set up one more Tetris now, and he's gonna get that last Tetris now at 524. So Andy with a slight advantage here.
As this bitch said, about 519 transition for Andy and about 524 for Dog. So Dog with the pace lead, about 6,000 points. But when you talk about that type of score differential, it is neck and neck here, Peak, between the brothers Arteaga. They're going at it. Dog is up 1-0 It is a best of 5. First to 3 will win and advance to the finals, where Gerald Freeman is waiting, perhaps looking to see if he can get his very first CTL championship. Man, what a revelation that would be.
And it's very interesting because, in the past, whenever we were near 29, we'd be like, oh my god, this is it. This is where it all comes down to. But, these two elite players can still play very well in 29, can score a significant amount of points, just Tetris after Tetris, be efficient. So regardless of the deficit, it's still anybody's game. There's still no way to fully tell who will win this game. And right now, Andy at 727 is ahead in lines and in the score. Dog trying to burn this down. Is Tetris ready? Waiting for the long bar. Gets a llama for a Tetris. So 714 for Dog.
About Tetris change here. There you go. So they'll be exchanging Tetris back and forth as we go along. Still about the early days of the transition. We're going into 24 now. So you could say it's about the halfway marker as we get close to that 29, and then these two guys can go for a while. Because we've seen numerous times. Dog has over 5 million score in PB, so certainly he knows how to play. But the 39 line cap will be in effect, so they cannot go any further. And I did not get to check. I would assume they both picked double kill screen Peak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I know
2
that
times.
they're proponents of that. Yeah, double kill screen speed will be in effect
And it'll be nice to see if maybe this set we could see the first double kill screen of the season. I think we talked about a little bit earlier in the stream how the closest we've gotten is, I believe, Gerald versus Miles Dog. I already forgot, but it only went to 38, so it almost happened, but we still haven't reached that big limit for the first time this season.
And here we go around 26 for Dog, 27 for Andy. And Dog kind of waiting here for some pieces. So the sequence not in his favor. He's going to have to make a hole here, and he's got a J dependency up high. He gets that roll all the way to the left side, but his right side is blocked. He's trying to open it up. A long bar inside. There we go. There's a Tetris. Dog had a 54-piece drought in the game against Gerald that ended up sending us to the decider. So now he's hoping to avoid those droughts. Andy will go to 29 first.
Ooh, he's
behind in the score too, as well as Dog has come back ferociously.
Nice.
Dog activated.
Andy hangs that long bar on the left side. Now misdrops that T piece. This could be very problematic. Could spell the end if the pieces don't go his way, but gets a nice sequence here. We'll level long bar right now to bring this down. Gets a double, but that's not gonna do much. It's still gonna help a little bit. And Dog already with a 1.26, while Andy is just getting higher and higher with this stack. And Dog scoring a Tetris 1.3 at level 31. What Andy?
Dog is just killing it right now. He is trying to put Andy away. Andy has just been spending the entire time at 29 burning for his life. The more he's doing it, the better the chance Dog has been pounding points.
Andy with a monumental survival right now, but it's not going to be enough if he doesn't get this out. If he doesn't get out of this now, because Dog is just going and he's not letting up, and we are losing time right now. And Andy's just going to top out with a 1.1. Dog with a 1.4 is going to take game number 2 and will be a match point for game 3.
Yeah, not much Andy could do there. He spent like the eternity of 29 play in Dig City. Could not get out. Dog was just slamming Tetris after Tetris after Tetris. And he certainly looked to finish Andy off there really quick. So it is 2-0 in favor of the two-time CTL champion, the defending champion. Season 18 winner is looking to get back to the finals once more and face his adversary, Gerald Friedman.
So the best anyone's done is 3 championships?
Yes.
Nice. So let's get started with game number 3 in 3, 2, 1. Tetris.
Historian Vicious Rhubarb, but coming in clutch, confirms yes, Nenu is a 3-time CTL champion. Richard was the very first CTL 3-time champion, and Dog looking to try to match that and join them in the pantheon of the immortals. No, confirmed. Dog has only 2. He confirmed it when we interviewed him at the end of season 18. He only has 2 victories because there was a while where he actually did not play in CTL for a good period of time.
I think Andy's won once, I believe.
Andy certainly has won at least once. I do not recall if he has a second. I don't think so.
Yeah, so there you go. Andy, I believe, looking for his second championship win. Dog looking to tie up the record, and Gerald looking for his first, who are 3 remaining players of this tournament after Sidnev was eliminated in the first, the round 1 of the runner-up bracket. So
Rhubarb will go fact check me. He says they think Andy has 2, but we'll wait for you to confirm. You would think that the CEO of CTL should know these things, but I do not. We'll have to put that on the CTL. Make a note here, Pete, that we should put that on the CTL page like CTM does, right? We'll list all the season Division 1 champions.
Oh yeah, and the beginning has like the DAS players like that for, and then it just slowly progresses from tap to roll. That's
yes, of course. Yes, I think was Bad Boy the last DAS champion? It was either Adam or Bad Boy. Yes.
That was sometime in 2019, I believe, and Nenu was our last tap champion in March, season 17. So, it's a really nice way to end off the tap streak, I guess. But now it's time.
Well, it's kind of it's kind of what Moo intended. Moo, the former owner of CTL, basically said, "I wanted to die with a tapper to win. It's fitting."
The perfect way to end. But Dog right now is doing his typical Dog thing with just multitasks in the beginning of 18.
Oh, Miles is right. Never forget about Muhammad either. Yeah, it's old school name right there. Wow. Definitely still Division 1, yes. Would certainly not survive in this realm any longer, but Lonnie remembers who that is.
It definitely. For some reason, I thought Mohammed was like Hap at the beginning, but then I was no, he's Sass. Damn, yeah, just really that good. But right now, Dong has a 312 at 64 lines. Goes for the flat weight burn here. Very nice. Andy 274. And shut up, Ball.
Welcome in, Ven Dweller is here, checking in on CTL Sunday. The championship is going on right now. We are in the semifinals. It is brother versus brother, of course. I'm sure people load something on there with the big caps lock on there. Brother versus brother.
Gotta make sure.
Right, Pete, what would you title the semifinal?
Shoot.
On the spot here.
Yeah, nobody sees this, but it takes me like at least 30 minutes to title it something. That's why I kind of stopped titling it. Like every video, I used to title like every single match something, like something special. But like, you know, it's kind of hard when some matches barely go through transition. They just try to make it something appealing. But yeah, I have no idea. I'm really just thinking about what thumbnail I'll make for this.
Well, I'm sure one of them will give us a great thumbnail to put on the YouTube channel, which of course you can go follow. We would love likes, subscribes, whatever we do on the YouTube. So you can go check it out. Peek does a phenomenal job over there, and all the matches. Well, at least some of them actually, because you've gone and redone that whole YouTube, right? You have a different way of showing the match, which I kind of like actually. It's kind of like a weekend recap, right? You do kind of like a recap of matches and then do one match highlight, right?
Yeah, so depending on how the matches go, like if somebody just keeps talking in one match, I'll add it to like a little list and then I'll highlight it for the next upload. Like I'll at the very beginning of the video, like a minute or 2 minutes, it'll be like every match that didn't make the cut basically.
Yeah, I kind of like that because I think it just keeps people in the loop as to what's been going on for the week of CTL, right? Because we tried, you know, as a league, we're trying to keep matches going on a weekly basis, right? So people get a weekend review and see, oh, this is what happened that week, or maybe I'll go back and watch it on the Twitch or whatever. So it's all good stuff. We have transitioned here. It is game number 3. This is a must-win situation for Andy if he wants to keep his hopes and dreams of becoming a CTL champion alive. He's down 112,000 points to the 2-time CTL champion.
Oh, Andy already going for a dirty Tetris here, and a dirty Tetris there for Andy, 551. Dog already with a 639 before transition. Bit of a messy board, but maybe he'll also go for a dirty. Nah, he's just going to go safe here. Very smart here for Dog. Lombard dependent as Andy's trying to burn this down. Lombard dependency solved for Dog, and Andy's going to be clean. So, yeah, Dog definitely trying to seal the deal in the set and just complete the sweep. But Andy has survived the sweep situation against Sidnev, managed to reverse sweep, so let's see if this could happen again against his brother.
Yeah, not far behind in the score, but obviously the line count will be a factor. Way ahead in lines. It's almost 20 lines ahead of Dog at this point. So certainly needs to be cautious about that, have to be effective with the Lombard usage when it gets in here, because Dog certainly knows how to use his bars very well.
Yeah, Dog looking to uncover that hole in his stack. I guess a Tetris just needs to do a bit of burning and he'll be fine. So 741 as Andy has had a messy stack here, gets the Lombard in time for the Tetris, but still has to burn now. And Dog is clean and still in the lead and behind in levels.
As you can see right now too on the screen, normally Andy would be rolling, but he is tapping here. You can see that right there. He's got the remote control grip and he's tapping away. Maybe he's just not feeling well enough with the roll today that he wants to play a little safe and give himself a chance. Maybe we'll see the switch grip going on, of course.
Yeah, I think the switch grip is what he will go for. I think that's what we saw in game 2. But yeah, it looks like those misdrops he had on 18 in the previous games kind of made him be like, oh, I don't think this is going to work out. Just be full roll. So we're going to be doing a grip switch, and Dog 928 could get a potential max out into 26. So phenomenal score right now in efficiency for Dog. Nice avoidance of the burn there with the adjustment on the square. And Tetris for Dog 988, Andy 891.
This is a flying for both players as we are approaching the 29 play. Andy down 126,000
Well, there's the grip
points.
switch.
And there we go.
No.
Oh, man, the grip switch is too late here, Peek. Yeah, that's going to be a top-out drought at the end. Also finish him. And at 895, the run for Andy and the dream of him versus Gerald is over. And Doug get a chance to make it 3 times as a CTL champion. GG's to both.
Yes, next up we'll be having the championship finals. This is it. This is what it all comes down to. Of course, we may have a bracket reset, but regardless, our final 2 are going to be Dog and Gerald. So stay tuned for that.
And of course, salty Andy, savage Andy, that's in the chat right now. This guy Dog does not have the space against Gerald. That's crazy. Yeah. It was a little bit of a rope-a-dope. You figure, you know what? I'll do it the hard way. I'll go beat up Andy and then come back and beat up Gerald now. Dog activated. Oh my word.
So yeah, if Dog, in the off chance that Dog wins the championship, I believe he'll be the first player in CTL history to win the championship, making it through the losers bracket.
That is correct, yes. Since this playoff format began back in season 17, that was the first time it was incorporated. Mood had the wherewithal to try to do a traditional playoff instead of the way that, for those that remember CTL, back before we started doing these Division 1 playoffs, basically players were just left to their own devices to schedule, and that ended up causing a lot of problems because Division 1 players just don't schedule matches, right? So that led to the King kind of saving Division 1 because it was on its last legs, and at that point, Moo was ready to call it quits back. I think this was like season 11 or 12. At that point, he was ready to just call it a career there. But then I kind of saved it, resurrected it by creating the scheduling format and making it more so like a league, right? Where we play on a certain day, everybody plays their matches on one day, and you go about and do that. And season 16 was the last season that we were doing that, in effect, where I would schedule matches, and it turned out for a couple of seasons that we would work it that the best players with the best records would kind of wait till the last day and play each other, and that would determine who the CTL champion was. But Moo decided, let's go into a playoff format. Let's get the top 4 players, and let's do it that way. And I think that's been for the best. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think it definitely it makes it more exciting in the season, the end of the season as well, because you don't really know for sure who will be in the playoffs, and whereas if it was just like a point system for the entire time, it'd be like, oh, if this person is like 7 or 8 points ahead of everyone else, that basically does it.
Right, exactly. And back in when Doug and Andy were actually playing, I think for Andy's second title win, I think it was confirmed that he had 2. I believe in one of those that he had to beat Dog by points and did have to win the match. I think Dog won the match, but Andy won the title because of the point differential.
Yes.
And that kind of ended up making it like, oh, okay, well, who cares about the next couple of games? It's like they still have games to play, but Andy's already won no matter what. So that kind of like took the sizzle out of the fire. So I think doing it this way certainly adds a little bit more emphasis to it. And plus, obviously, we're in the Matcherino era. So we are certainly, playing for money. And of course, we talk about money. We talk about contributions. Please, ladies and gentlemen, contribute to the prize pool. We are not begging. We are asking any type of contributions to these wonderful players. Certainly will be acclaimed and mentioned here on the stream, of course. And you can help. You don't even have to contribute money, right? You can contribute by doing sponsor quests. All right, the contribution codes are over, so you can't use those. But we can certainly take sponsor quests. So you can follow, like, subscribe to some of the sponsors that help donate or contribute, we should say, right? We don't say donate here, we say contribute.
Yeah.
Right? Those people say donate, and like, oh, I think you're donating. What, do I get a tax refund for it too? No. You're contributing to the prize pool. So whatever you can give, whether it's through a sponsor quest or through a direct contribution, we more than appreciate it. So thank you very much. And as we get set for the final coming up, we got a 10-minute break here, Pete. So I guess let's take a break. Fans, stick around. Again, go visit the Matcherino, and we shall be back with the finals of the CTL Season 19 Championship.